What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Muse podcast. We are on day 11 of 32 teams in 32 days. I'm officially over one third through the NFL. So make sure you go back and watch some of the previous episodes if there's a team that you care about, or if you're just trying to catch up on this offseason. So if you're not familiar with what's been going on in my season previews, is I've been talking about team strengths, weaknesses, the additions and re-signings of your favorite team, the departures, the draft picks, and then I've been doing record predictions and why I think that's going to come to fruition. On this very podcast last year, I predicted the Jacksonville Jaguars would go 4-12. Well, it's actually good news. Turned out better than that because they ended up going 1-15. And why do I say that's better? Because they ended up getting a franchise quarterback, one of the most, kind of notorious, famous, possibly the best quarterback of the past 25 years. And that is Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, there's no way you're watching this video. You don't know who Trevor Lawrence is. So like I said, it ended up kind of being a successful season. I've never seen a fan base so excited to go 1-15. But when you have a guy like Trevor Lawrence at the number one spot, you've got to be pretty excited. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the additions and re-signings of this Jacksonville Jaguars team. And they ended up getting Carlos Hyde, Jamal Agnew, Philip Dorsett, Marvin Jones, Tim Tebow. They tagged Cam Robinson, Dwayne Smoot, Malcolm Brown, Roy Robertson Harris, Damon Wilson, Sidney Jones, Shaquille Griffin, and Rayshawn Jenkins. So clearly they brought in a lot of talent and made a lot of acquisitions, re-signed some of their guys. Just because, again, this team went 1-15, so they kind of need some new faces. They need to start getting some of the pieces together. Some of the guys I liked is, I actually don't mind bringing in a Tim Tebow. As far as kind of almost as a mentor, he's not going to coach Trevor Lawrence on anything because he can't hold Trevor Lawrence's jockstrap, but just kind of catching him up to maybe an Urban Meyer system and just kind of maybe being a team leader. And also, in a weird way, it kind of takes some of the pressure off of a Trevor Lawrence because Tim Tebow is going to be grabbing so many headlines and so much attention is going to be paid to him. Kind of lets your rookie quarterback kind of take some of the pressure off of him. And I do like a Shaquille Griffin. Sidney Jones is a guy that I think is underperformed in the NFL, but he's a guy I like coming out of Washington. So I do like some of the guys that they acquired. As far as departures, they lose Chris Thompson, Keelan Cole, Chris Conley, D.D. Westbrook, Tyler Eifert, Josh Oliver, and DJ Hayden. Yeah, I don't mind losing any of those guys. I thought Chris Thompson would be a little bit better for this Jacksonville Jaguars team. He didn't really do much last year. D.D. Westbrook has been pretty pedestrian. Keelan Cole, he's okay. Chris Conley had a pretty decent season last year, but as far as that goes, I definitely 100% forget the draft. I definitely think the additions outweigh the departures. When we jump to the 2021 NFL draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars, I have already mentioned, with the number one overall pick, they get Trevor Lawrence, the franchise guy, the guy that you want to see for the next 15, 20 years. With their second first round pick, and in kind of a surprising pick, they end up getting Travis Etienne. I was a little surprised by this pick. I don't know if it's kind of maybe like a culture thing, a winning tradition that Clemson's had for a while with Debo Sweeney. But yeah, so they already had the back. So it's different. It's not the necessarily the area that I thought they would target, but that is where they ended up going. They get Tyson Campbell, Walker Little, Andre Cisco, and Jordan Smith. One of the picks that is one of my favorite kind of non-first round picks that I really really like is Walker Little. He's a guy who he might not make it in the NFL. He's a guy that we haven't seen play in a couple of years. But if what we saw the last time he played is what we get from Walker Little, dude, he would have been a first round pick. That's not a question. His talent is immense. So I'm pretty excited if he can develop into a big, strong tackle if they kick him inside. I'm not sure what they have planned for him because, like I said, we haven't seen him in a while. But I think Walker Little could be a guy who's definitely a project, but a high upside for team strengths. It is upside. I'm looking at the roster and yeah, they have glaring holes and that's not questionable. But this team's upside is awesome. This team's going to get better as the year goes on. And I don't really see this team, even if their record isn't great, I don't see them getting destroyed in a lot of their games. I see them, being within a score or two of a lot of their games. And, I think that's all you can kind of hope for from this team, to go from 1-15 to think you're going to go, 16-1. Nah, that's not realistic. But I think this team can be competitive, and it's just the idea of, can you keep Trevor Lawrence safe from taking too much damage, and just kind of figuring out what you have, and then you figure out what you're going to draft next year or what you're going to try to acquire in the offseason of next year. So I do like this team's upside. As far as weakness, I think it's the defense as a whole. They have pieces that I like, but they're pretty unproven. They have guys like Josh Allen and Schobert, Jack, CJ, Griffin, those kind of guys who I like. They're players, but we've never seen them necessarily win at this level. Someone like Josh Allen's had flashes of being an elite pass rusher. Jack has been a guy who's can be a 3-down linebacker for a winning team, and I love CJ. But again, we haven't seen these guys be elite yet or be on an elite team, so it's going to be interesting. You do sometimes see a guy who's very talented or a team that could be very talented. They've been around losing traditions, and it kind of, I don't want to say, sap some of their energy, but it's something kind of along those lines where they almost become losers. And I don't mean that in a discouraging way, but it is something that we saw with Cleveland for the longest time. We see guys that look like they were really talented, not produce in the NFL at all. And you do have to kind of blame it on that tradition, or maybe we just overlook them as a whole because they're on a losing team consistently. For biggest question marks, you can obviously say Trevor Lawrence. Will he be the guy that we think he could be? But to me, it's Urban Meyer. What's he going to look like coaching in the NFL? Will he be overwhelmed? Can he make the adjustments? This is going to be really interesting to see. My only intrepidation with Urban Meyer is we've seen sometimes him get, and I don't want to say overwhelmed, but we've seen him kind of look pressured. We've seen him lose, walk out of programs because of health concerns, and that worries me because the NFL, I think, is a lot bigger and a lot tougher than college football. So I worry about this job being maybe almost biting off a little bit more you can chew. But I like Urban Meyer, man. I think he's been a great coach, and we've seen what he's done at Utah and Florida and Ohio State. So I'm really hoping that he's a success story in the NFL. He's one of the few college coaches to come here and just have it figured out. And I hope so, because I really do like him. As far as record prediction, I think they do improve. Like I said, I think they stay in a lot of games. I don't think necessarily their final record is going to translate to how kind of close their games are. I think they end up going 4-13, which is completely fine if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, because you get another probably top 5, top 6 pick, and you're kind of building on it, right? You're not going to overnight, like I said, jump to from 1-15 to 15-1. That's not necessarily a reality. But I do think they're going to start trending in the right direction. As far as bold predictions, I think Tim Tebow's going to throw for 1,000, run for 1,000, and catch for 1,000 easy. That means he's gonna be the first guy in NFL history to do it. Nah, I'm kidding. Bold predictions, obviously I could say Trevor Lawrence wins Rookie of the Year, but I don't think that's too bold. But I will stay along the Tim Tebow lines to have some fun. I think Tim Tebow makes the team, and I think he catches a touchdown. All right, so that's kind of a fun one. I believe you can bet on it like FanDuel or DraftKings, and I think it's like a plus 225 odds. So that's kind of a fun one to throw down a few dollars, and he might catch one in the red zone. He lines up a tight end, looks like he's gonna block, or we see one of those stupid Tim Tebow draw, jump pass kind of things that he did at Florida. But that's a fun, bold prediction. The Jacksonville Jaguar fans, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think I'm right? Do you guys think I'm wrong? Do you guys think that this will be a successful year as far as maybe 6, 7, 8 wins? Because I've seen some people predict that, and that's possible. Or do you think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bust? Because I've also seen people say that. I don't see it at all. But let me know what you guys think about this breakdown. If you guys can help support the show, I would greatly appreciate it. Click like, click subscribe, and just help support the show, because that's the only way I can grow. Guys, I'll see you next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for sticking around for the entire video. Thank you for supporting the show, clicking that like button, subscribing, comments, all that fun stuff. If you could just take one more second and check out Rep Sports, check out Raise Energy. They are partnered with this podcast. They are help supporting me. So if you go and check them out, it's the best tasting energy drink on the market. 100% guaranteed. They have supplements, protein, pre-workouts, recovery, all that stuff. If you guys check them out and you use promo code SportsMuse when checking out, you get 15% off of your order. And who doesn't like, some money off of their purchase? That's awesome. So definitely check them out. And like I said, it helps support me. It helps support them. So please check them out, guys. And thank you again so much for sticking around.